the last two steps of the squaring process, we're going to be using the second table saw in the lab. It's the one that has the crosscut sled here. You can see the board is positioned in such a way so that we are going to be cross-cutting the ends of the board. Okay, we're going to eventually get it to the exact length we need for the project we're making. Remember, the first thing you want to do is make sure the blade is high enough. You want it about 1/4 inch above the board that you're cutting. I already did that in this step. Okay, you can see this blade is already higher than the actual board. So step number 6, all we're doing is just squaring one end of the board. We're cutting off a little amount. We're not taking off inches from the board. We're just trimming or squaring one end of the board. You'll see there's a stopper here. There's a wrench or a lever that you can use to loosen and tighten this stopper bar. You're going to see me here in a second slide that up against, lock it in place. That's going to keep this board from sliding around as I go to make the cut. Alright, put the guard down. I'm going to turn on the machine. Notice my hand position as I'm making the cut. One hand is in front, pulling back against the board. The other hand is controlling the cross-cut sled. And I'm basically pinching the board between both of my hands. Go through, slowly make the cut. You'll see at the end, after I completed the cut, I'm going to move and slide that board over out of the way. Okay, I could then slide that sled back empty where there's nothing on it, but you just got to make sure you pull that board off before you pull that sled back. So that was step 6. Step 7 now is where we're going to actually cut the final length for our project. So here I'm adjusting the bar to the length that I need. There's a ruler here. And you're actually reference the left side from this view. If you're standing where I am here, it'd be the right side, but you're looking at the left side here of that bar, and you're going to line it up with the mark on the ruler. Okay, see how I flip it up there? That's the side I'm looking at right over here. Lock it in place, flip it down, so that's the final length I need. The board is positioned so that this end right here is the one I just kiss cut or squared previously. It's step 6. Okay, so this end is already square. That goes up against the stopper here. We're now going to cut the opposite end to our final length. This board will then be the perfect length that we need. Through, nice and slow, made the cut, clear the board away, and see how I can bring it back without anything hitting. After you turn off the machine, I tapped it with my knee here, you're going to see a little scrap piece is laying here. You're going to wait for the blade to stop spinning, use a push stick to knock away the scrap before you leave the machine. Alright, blade stopped, I can knock that away carefully. You never want to get in the habit of using that hand to reach in to clear scraps away. It's very easy to get hurt doing that. Alright, so some general safety. A lot of this is review from the rip cut previously. Remember, the blade should be 1/4 inch above the wood. The edge should always be against the cross sled. Okay, that's that black sled when we're cross cutting. Okay, the rip fence should not touch any part of the board. So what that means here, let me go back here in my video. Notice how whenever I'm cross cutting, this rip fence is nowhere close to my cut. Okay, if that were over against my board, basically it pinches and gives you a kickback. So whenever you're cross cutting like I am here, that rip fence should be out of the way. You never use both at the same time. Alright, back to the end here. Remember, the sled is only used for cross cutting. We never use them both at the same time like I mentioned. We keep our fingers at least 4 inches from the blade. We push the board all the way past the blade like you saw in the video. We always stand outside of the danger zone. Okay, like you saw, let me show you that again. Notice my positioning here. I'm out over this side of the blade so that this area is free for if kickback were to occur. Alright, after the cut, we always make sure the blade stops spinning, and we use a push stick to remove any scraps near the blade.